wouldn't set it
Sorry,
up.
you guys are doing, you wear a few hats over there. So I know that between being showing people the factory floor and the videos for that, and I know that you're not just the guy just showing things. You're also done many other things for Yarbo. So I can appreciate your guys' hard work. This is a really sweet device. I can't wait to have it, and I've got a lot of people excited about it. So I really want to see it work well, and I'm here to help.
Thank you for that. Okay, so I think we'll just get started now, and this will be recorded, just so you know that we'll be posting. Most likely, we'll be posting it to the YouTube and other channels, right? So although we only have a few friends with us today, but we'll still be very informative, and we'll provide like all the answers to your questions. Okay. Hopefully, you'll enjoy this webinar.
Thank you.
All right. So we didn't have that turned on. It's either the laptop or the mobile device. Also, Rachel is here. I'm just feeling her in.
Yeah, but like you have the video on.
Yeah, then I have to quit the Teams on my laptop. So like right now it's only. Yeah, you can do that, and then let's switch over. All right. Give me a second. I'm just gonna switch over to the mobile phone.
Brian, were you with Yarbo or were you with a customer? Sorry, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, it's sure.
Are you able to see the screen? The video?
No. I can't see you. It's like
see
purely.
Rachel.
No.
Nothing. You have your names on, but like it's purely blank.
How do you guys do the thing over your head, Rachel? Is it a hat or is it?
Yeah, it's a hairband.
Okay. I thought maybe, but I wasn't sure. In some of the videos, it kind of looks like it could be just floating over, and you guys did something cool with some technology. So I had to ask.
It's nothing technology.
Just physical.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
It might
I
be
was
never
really
know.
impressed. I thought it was all automated.
I'm sorry. What was that? So sorry.
How did you get a cab? Are you a current Yarbo owner?
Oh, hold on. Let Brian ask, because I actually was asking him a question before you guys came back on. So can Brian just go ahead and speak for a second?
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
And then, yes, I do want to answer that.
Yeah, to answer your question, I'm a customer.
Oh,
Rachel.
okay, cool. You actually already bought one?
I have bought one. I'm waiting for it to show up.
Okay, cool. I'm probably with you. I bought it the night of the 15th, or it was actually the night of the 14th for me because I'm in Central Standard Time. So I got it like a half an hour before midnight Eastern. So I'm eager to get mine around October, I think it is. So.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. So I'm sorry, Rachel, you were asking what again?
The cab? No, I was asking Michael, like, where did you get a cab? The Yarbo cab.
So I funny story. Been trying to get on the co-founder's radar for a while now, and I've probably been a little bold, and I hope I didn't scare him off. But I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to steal a webinar for what it's not. But I actually bought it off of eBay. I saw it on eBay, and I wanted to purchase it, and I did. So
Okay.
I actually, sadly, just found out about this product probably 5 or 6 days before I bought it. Being a technology nerd, I have no idea how this thing flew under my radar as long as it did.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Have we already started or?
Not yet. Start now.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna start with the a welcome message to Anthony and all audiences today, and greetings all Yarbo enthusiasts, and welcome to another insightful webinar. And let's welcome our Yarbo tech lead, Anthony here.
Hi, hi guys.
Hello.
As the lead for Yarbo's Lawn Mower module, he has been leading the design and the production phase, and Anthony has dedicated countless hours to research lawn care and optimizing mowing techniques. His attention to detail and commitment to perfection ensures the best outcomes for the Yarbo family. Anthony's vision in developing Yarbo's lawn care solution has just started. The lawnmower module is just the beginning, and he will be leading so many more module designs dedicated to suit your lawn maintenance needs. Okay, so a brief introduction for today's agenda. We will have an overview of Yarbo's products, and ask some personal questions for Anthony, and a bit more about the challenges he faced while he was initially designing the Yarbo lawnmower. And then we will dive into the 2024 Yarbo's lawnmower module, right? We'll be providing some enhancements and design, how to say it?
Yeah. Like in upgrades,
Yeah,
enhancements.
enhancement. And then we'll be moving on to the future direction and development for Yarbo's lawnmower, right? And maybe some other attachment or modules based on the lawn
Mhm.
care, right?
Yeah.
And lastly, we'll be having a QA session, so you can ask anything about the lawn-related questions, and then we'll be having a conclusion by Anthony. And yeah, that's basically the agenda for today. And yeah, let's get started. So right, for the new audiences today, although we don't, maybe it's all old friends, but we'll be having some new audiences at the when we post it on YouTube or other channels on Facebook, right? So for the new audiences today, could you introduce Yarbo to them, and what is Yarbo's mission?
Okay, sure. Okay, thank you, Ethan. So,
Is it?
as some of you may have known that Yarbo is the only module design Yarbo brought in the markets. So I have just said that. So I have two keywords for Yarbo. So first of all, of course, it's modular, and the second one is it's a robot. So that means that we can have multiple possibilities in the future, and we have already done three possibilities already in the 2024 version. And for its ultimate mission is that we want to be your only solution for the yard care surface, so it can handle most of the work by itself. So you don't need to waste time for this kind of a frustrating work in the yard care. But of course, if you have some needs that's saying that you want to spend some time in your yard care, that's okay. It's up to you. But we want to handle the most dirty work for you, and so that you can enjoy your time with your family. Yeah. So that's it.
All right, thank you for sharing that. And next question I want to ask is, like, why did you join Yarbo? Like, what was the first motivated you to join Yarbo?
Yeah, so I joined Yarbo at the time that it just finished the prototype development of the snowbot, right? And when I joined this company, it was just started to begin its modular design development. And at that time, that's of course there is a majority of there's plenty of the competitors in the market, but I think Yarbo is the most unique one, right? And that's why I think it has chosen a right path. So that's why we were standing here and can share with you guys that the future of Yarbo and the existing product of Yarbo.
All right. So doing the initial product development on design, what were some challenges you faced for the lawnmower module?
Okay. So I had to use this mini Yarbo as a kind of illustration. So as you can see that from the out surface, you can see that there is a very big difference that Yarbo lawnmower compared with other robotic lawnmowers. So you can see that it's kind of it's cutting this is mounting at the front of the whole machine, right? So this is something that was quite different from what had been done in the industry for like 20 years, right? So we need to find a way that to kind of elevate this kind of advantage. And then at the same time, we want to kind of eliminate its kind of a disadvantage. And the second thing is that, as you may aware, that Yarbo snowblower, the Yarbo universal body, it's weigh a lot, right? Because we need to have enough traction when pushing the snow, right? So the kind of the risk is that some of you may concern that maybe it will kind of have some damage to your lawn, right? So this is another issue that we want to address in our development. Yeah.
Okay, so what kind of solutions did you implement or use to resolve those challenges?
Yeah. So as some of you have known that actually we are not the only kind of lawnmower, right, in the market that is putting the cutting disc at the front, right? So I mean, in other than the robotic lawnmowers, right, there is a kind of a ride-on lawnmowers. Maybe some of you have heard that they will putting the cutting disc at the front, right? So we have actually introduced some of its idea, right, to kind of spread the weight, some of the weight to the cutting disc to our lawnmower module, so that it will kind of lose the it will doesn't put much weight on the lawnmower on the universal body part, right? And the second thing is that we have find many ways to how to spread the weight on the checks, so that because we understand that the damage to the lawn, right, actually it's the kind of the pressure on the soil, right? So we want to spread the pressure on the checks, and you can see that for the snowball checks, it have some very unique design kind of checks here. So we want to make it as smooth as possible. So we implement the check packs, right? And as you can see in our video, right? So that is the two kind of major development that we have for implement this
Challenges,
project. Yeah.
to resolve the challenges. All right. Okay, so thank you for sharing those insights. And let's move on to a deep dive into the Yarbo's 2024 lawnmowers. All right.
Okay.
So can you give an introduction to the designing of the latest model for the lawnmower module?
Sure. So as you can see, this is the model of 2023 version. So I will take it as a kind of a comparison, right? So for the 24 version, you can see that here the ultrasonic radar on the 23 version is quite is a bit low, and it will most close to the front of the Yarbo. And we under our further testing and also for the feedback from our some of our PVP users, right? This kind of the precision of the ultrasonic radar is a little bit not that good, right? So we have in the 24 version we have moved it much higher, right? Like in this place, and we give it a better field of view, right? So that it can cover more blind spot that Yarbo cannot see, right? Because you can see that Yarbo is quite a long, machine compared to others. The other thing is that for the checks, right? We have we developed a kind of a new checks, especially for the lawn, and and we can do this. You can switch this kind of a new checks with our quick release check structure, right? So that you don't need to insert much check packs here. You just need to kind of switch the whole checks. And I have tried it yesterday, right? It just took me kind of 5 minutes to swap that out, and then take another 5 minutes to swap
Install
it in.
it.
Yeah.
But it's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are already getting some feedbacks from our current M1 users, right?
Okay.
By saying that the trackpad it's not hard to install, but it's taking a lot of time.
Yeah,
It's very time consuming to screw the trackpads in.
Exactly.
So I think that's the quick release design. The new enhancement is really a great thought, and it really proves that Yarbo cares about their customers, and we want Yarbo to be as convenient as it can be, right?
Yep.
And user friendly. So basically,
So to clarify,
mhm.
sorry, just to clarify, the 2023 model is the one that we were using where we had to screw them in. The 2024 will have the new tracks that you can swap, but those are non-interchangeable with the 2023 because it's not a quick changeover with being able to bring the front and the rear of the axles in, if you will, to be able to allow for the track to be able to take it on and off, is my understanding.
That is correct. Yes.
Yep.
So for the 2023 version, I think we cannot release the tensions for the tracks, and hence we cannot take it off. Is that?
Yeah, actually you can, but it just take much of time because even for our kind of very experienced
Mechanicals?
engineers,
Okay.
they need to kind of spend an hour to release those tension, right?
Okay. So for the 23.
Yeah,
version,
exactly.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I didn't mean to make it sound impossible. I'm so sorry. I just meant that the time allowed was going to be too much, which is why you guys did the nice upgrade on the 2024. So
Yeah.
that we got rid of we hit two birds with one stone, basically. We're able to use the tracks and save time.
That's right. Yes. Okay. So I'm just gonna ask some questions for the audiences or for the Yarbo families, right? Because we don't have many people joining us today. So I will be asking the trimmer and edgers. I think that's the major concern, and most people are interested with it. So
It's
could
the
you-
highest expectation. I think.
Yes. Yes.
I think our users have been discussing about this like every day.
Mhm.
Every day we got like several posts asking, how about the trimmer and edger?
Okay,
Which
so
one you want to start first? Edger or the trimmer?
actually it's basically the same kind of the same feature to me, though it's like
Okay.
two kind of different mechanic product, right?
Mhm.
But to me, it's the same. The first challenge that to me is the same for edger and trimmer. So
Okay.
both of these products actually needs us to kind of see the boundaries very clearly, right? And that is the thing that why we want to introduce the 24 version of our of our binocular camera, right? So some of you may have already tested. So you can see that the binocular camera, even on the 23 version, for the lawnmower, it can kind of identify the boundary very precisely, right? So it can have kind of auto mapping function already. So actually it's shared the same with the edger and trimmer, right? So we know exactly where the boundary is, and then we will tell Yarbo to follow that boundary to move, right? So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that for the mechanical part, I think especially for the trimmer, because trimmer, you can see that it's most of the trimmer in the market is something using a swing, right? Swinging
String?
Yeah, swing knife. Yeah.
Okay.
To cut. Yeah. And that mechanical actually is they have some sharp backs, right? So maybe it will especially on the robotic machine as we do, right? So sometimes we may run out of the string line, and then you need to kind of replace with yourselves. And of course, when the time goes by, it will run out at one day, right? But we want to make it as long as possible, so you don't need to kind of swap it, each time it works, right? So this is the challenge that we were facing when the trimmer. And for the edger, I think the most challenging part is that because we have already do some kind of pre-research, although we didn't move into the exact kind of prototype developments, but we do some research first. And then we think that edger is kind of because the edger is quite, we need to leave a kind of a sharp boundary when it moves out. Whereas, so even a professional, right, that kind of guardians cannot do this really well. So we want to, and not to mention that's because Yarbo is a kind of such a big machine, right? So this kind of controlling algorithm, is something that we need to have spend more time to develop. And that's the challenge of the edger.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And I think Ken is here with us also. I think he mentioned something about the I think the angles for the trimmers that you can adjust it to the front, right? Do you have any insight on how we can achieve that?
You mean the angles of the tumor, or the?
Yeah, I think it's like when you are having the attachment here. It's not just perpendicular to the Yarbo, right? You can actually change it to like facing towards to the front, and so to adjust the angles, basically.
Yep, we can.
Hey,
do
hey guys, I'm here.
Again.
Yeah, I'll just chime in real quick, but Anthony, you can answer. A lot of people are asking, can we get the actual trimmer and edger to the front corner, right? So even though our connection is in the midpoint of the side, right? When you're coming up to like a fence or a curve, we need a way to handle that, right? So the idea we were talking about internally was to look to see if we can get it to the front corner, even though the connection point, right, for the electrical and the data part is on the side. And there might be different ways to approach that, but that was the kind of challenge that we were talking about, right? It was how do we handle the 90-degree, and then not just at a fence line, right, which is common, but any literal corner case. Because if we're just working off the side port in the middle of the module, we'll never reach corners, right? So, and again, there might be other ways to address that, extending the trimmer out further or something like that. But that was where that conversation came in.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Not impossible, just a challenge, is what I heard.
Yeah, for sure. Everything's a challenge. But Anthony, you can speak to that. I'm really here just to listen, and actually have to run soon. But I just wanted to pop in and say hi.
Yep.
Hey.
Yeah. So.
Appreciate that.
So actually, kind of, I think the most, what we can have mentioned is practical, right? So. Because at this corner you can see that there is no such a sensor to kind of obstruct the operation of the edger and trimmer, and also but the only challenge is that because the mounting point is here that we have our original design, right? So maybe if we want to have a kind of a long distance from the side of the Yarbo mower to here at the corner. So maybe that kind of a distance may be a kind of a challenge, but we will look into different possibilities, right, when we design this. And from now, as I talk with the mechanic team, they say it's okay, but then let's see when we make the first prototype, and then we will share with you guys our more updated research
information. Okay. All right. Thank you, Anthony. And let's move on to the next topic. I think with the binocular camera installed at the rear part, Can Yarbo achieve mowing in reverse so that Yarbo doesn't have to turn anymore?
Yep.
I think that's a major topic in the Facebook group also, right?
Yeah.
Can we achieve that?
I think it's kind of it's very easy, yeah, for the 24 version because they have a kind of a binocular camera on the back, right?
Yep.
And so that makes Yarbo to kind of improves much efficiency in when it's mowing, but I think it's kind of this feature is more, make much more sense in the blower module. Right. So actually, because you can see that the latest design of the blower, actually, it just blow the winds in one direction. Right.
Yeah.
So that if we can kind of moving in reverse, so it will have a much more, it will enhance, double the efficiency of the blower itself. So yeah, I don't see any kind of a challenge in here. So yeah, it's a quite a quick release. Yeah, just when we finish the 24 version, and then we'll get to you with our latest design. Yeah.
Okay, so it will be OTA if it's doable, right? If it's developed.
Even
It's
though
a software. It's going to take some time. You guys just threw these things on here. He's got to take some time to run the software. Is what I heard.
I think we can kind of like when the 24 version of the lawnmower will get to ship, right? We can do it. It don't need to OTA even.
Okay.
We can implement it when it's going to factory. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think, Anthony, I think the only thing, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but have we actually tested mowing in reverse? Because the only thing we have to be careful of is the tracks laying down the lawn before the mower has a chance to get there, right?
Yeah.
Have we tested that yet?
Yep. So I think it's kind of it has two right. It really tell the differences. That's the height of your lawn, right? So some of and especially the grass type of your lawn, right? So some of the grass type is quite, because we can see that it's short and it doesn't, when the tracks roll over, it bends,
fair
yeah,
point.
very quickly, so that the kind of discutting doesn't have any effects on it. But some, because I understand that some of you guys, especially in the south region, right, you want to keep the height of the grass very quite long, right? So, and that's the issue that maybe, after it's bent down by the tracks, right, it cannot recover. Then it will not be cut, right, by our move disc. So that's a challenge. Yeah. Indeed.
That's a really good point, though. We could probably list the types of grass in the app, because I know tall fescue, that's going to lay right down, right? So that would lay down before the blades get there. But zoysia will pop right back up. That's a good point. So yeah, you're right. So we'll just have to educate the users on when to use it, when to not. Cool.
Okay, that's very insightful.
All right, I'm gonna leave you guys. I'm gonna leave you guys to it. I just wanted to say hi, and yeah.
All right, thank you,
Okay.
Ken.
Bye, Ken.
Thanks.
All right, take care, guys.
Mhm.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Can I circle back to
Thanks.
the trimmer? Ask a question on that.
Yep, definitely.
You guys given any thought to the types of material for either the string and potential implications of if it is a plastic string or plastic blades or something like that, environmental impacts microplastics or anything?
Actually, the most common practice in this industry is that for the plastic string, right? And because we have some kind of tests on that, and we think that may be a good solution for our current case, but we need to have a much bigger, kind of swing cases, the line cases to hold the extra lines, because because when Yarbo is going, in one mowing section, it may consume a lot of the lines, because that is something that we need to improve. the other reason why we want to choose the strings, the plastic string is that you guys can kind of buy the swaps in your local market very easily, right? So I think it would be a better choice. Yep.
With the plastic strings?
Yep.
Okay. So I think the second question to Brian, well, no, second part of the question of Brian's is that environmental friendly, right? So like when you're using a plastic string, there will be remnants of the string, like leaving on the lawn or just spread on the ground, right? So is that environmental friendly? Like, can they be decomposed over time? You know, things like that.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, actually, in the industry, yeah, they do have some kind of recyclable materials that can be used. But when we're talking about environment, the other words comes with it is cost, right? Yeah. So actually, yeah, we are finding some kind of a balance. It's all about balance. Yeah, between the balance, the cost, and the kind of environment friendly. Yeah. But I think because there is kind of awareness is promoting here, right? Yeah. So I think we can find some kind of solution. Yeah. Right away.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Any other questions on the Android trimmer? Right.
No, I'm good. Thank you. I just was curious types of materials maybe you guys have started testing.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Thank you. Okay. So the next topic that's also very popular in the Facebook group is the mowing pattern. Mowing pattern. Right. And so yeah, what kind of patterns that Yarbo currently have right now?
Yeah, I'm was very happy to share with you that so currently we already have 4 patterns. So first of all is the parallel patterns that like a zigzag, right? Is it's most popular way as the others do. The second is the kind of the checkerboards, right? So it's like so at one section kind of Yarbo will move in this direction, and the next section will go like it was
Vertically.
Yeah, vertically.
Okay.
And the third part, the third mode is the diamond modes, right? So it's just like a triangle, right? So each time you will kind of change the direction like 60-degree, right? And then to make a kind of a diamond look like. And the fourth one is the spirals, right? So it will, So, and now for the latest part of our algorithm, you can choose whether you go from the center to the boundary. So it's like, or you want to go from the boundary to the center. It's all up to you. Yeah. So you can kind of customize that. Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a big challenge for the app design.
Yeah, it's okay. It's just some of the more choice can be offered. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we are having like so many customizations for the users, and also, like I said, right, there will be so many more things coming up on the application, like Yarbo application, right? So I don't know if you can. This is your specialties, but how does Yarbo handle so many like customizations and settings and still being intuitive for users?
Yeah. So actually, that is one quick question that we were facing that. Yeah. So we want to kind of leave it 2 parts, right? So for all those, I think the majority of our users, especially for the newcomers, right? They don't know the Yarbo very well. They only want to start playing as quickly as possible, so that we will kind of we think that maybe 80% of our users is like that group of people, right? So that's we will make this kind of installation steps as quick as possible.
Okay.
And then we will leave the kind of those very sophisticated setting in the advanced setting part. And this is something that we are talking with our application team. Yeah. So that all those the professional or those advanced setting are all in another section. So that we want to, because we understand that for some of our users, especially those from our PPP users or those backers that was with us, for like 2 years, right? They are very familiar with Yarbo, and some of them may even know Yarbo better than us, right? So we want to to also to take a balance with them. So that, but we also, as we always, we want to attract more new users to come, so that we will kind of like make a balance. For those professional, you go to the advanced setting. For those general user, you just make the kind of ordinary setting. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. I think that's all the topics I want to discuss with Anthony. So, is there anything else that Michael and Brian maybe you want to share or discuss with Anthony here about the lawnmower?
Yeah, curious if
So
the,
this thing. Oh, go ahead. So please go. No, please, sir. Go ahead.
thank you. I was curious
Yep.
about the printing. Is that going to be available on launch?
Yeah, so for the printing kind of, we think the most of our kind of energy now, especially
Resources?
resources.
Right.
Now we are focusing on the kind of development of the 24 version mass production of it, right? So I think it will not come until kind of maybe October or even November, right? And that is the fact that we are facing now, especially that because I can tell you why the challenging part that we tested some of them, but the most challenging part is that because you can see the Yarbo is quite big, right? So that especially when if you are kind of not a very big lawn, right? If you are in a big lawn, that's okay. It can turn around, right? Like if you have a big lawn, we can do this more quickly. But we think most of our users they just have a lawn that is not that big, right? So that this is challenging for us. So we need to, because every time when Yarbo is turning, we don't want to do a kind of a zero turn. Yeah, we need to have a 3-point turn, and that will make the kind of the pattern, right? Especially the printing, look so good, because especially if you want to print an A, right? When it's turning, it will kind of have a little tail on it. You don't think it's an A, right? So yeah, that's the challenging part. Yeah. So yeah, that's the schedule that we are on.
And along those lines of the lines and it not looking good, I think this was brought up in one of the previous live events, but does it have a way to kind of follow the path back when it needs to go charge or something, so that it's not over, creating new lines while it's just cutting across the yard?
So yeah, like after Yarbo is like going out for the auto plant, and then so right now the algorithm is always set for Yarbo to find the shortest distance between its current location back to the docking station, right? So that might leave I think a straight line like directly across the areas it already mowed, right? Can we find a way for Yarbo to like go back following the original path that's already mowed instead of just cutting through the whole lawn?
Yeah, so I think we have a better way to do this, is just to kind of to follow the boundary. So actually we will do 2 boundary cuts, right? And then I think no matter where Yarbo is staying, that you will find a shortest way to the boundaries, and this kind of distance will be much less than the distance that we will go back to docking station, right? So it will go to the boundary first, and then for the boundary to go back to the docking station. Yeah, this is something that algorithm that we are still developing. Yeah, and it's okay. It's not that hard. Yeah, so we can implement this.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, so Michael, I think you had something to share with us.
No, I just I think as I continue to hear that, and I think maybe with the trimmer and the going to the trimmer and the
Edger.
edger for a minute. Yeah, thank you. I feel like I'm hearing there's a lot of ideas there, and it's even farther away than where the Yarbo is. But you guys have also talked that that's not released until next year. And I think what I really have kind of gotten out of tonight, and you guys tell me I'm wrong, but you guys are constantly about thinking about how can we make it better until we finally press the button and these things are shipped and some of these other things. And I can tell that you guys are trying to do your best. I just told a lot of people that they need to buy one of these things, and I need to know that it's going to do what it's going to do. And I think talking about the edger and the trimmer and how you guys are still working on that. Good example of that is that upgrade that just happened to the back of the 2024 with the rear color change and the sensor change outs, right? So those kind of things, you guys are trying to make it better and better. And I can now understand a little bit that makes more sense hearing about the trimmer and edger, because is there something you guys can actually show us right now? Or, you know what I mean? Like, what is it that, what are you guys, what does that look like so far? Because I know the machine, I've seen it. Graham's setup is amazing. It was really refreshing to be able to see your guys' unit in action. Sorry, I'm a little bit of a word sandwich.
So yeah, so when are we able to see a prototype for the edger trim?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's like a conclusion for your question, right? Summarize.
Yeah, it shares the same template as the printing. That's why the reason is that it's always mass production first. Yeah. So as you have read that we will just begin. Shortly we will begin the mass production, and that mass production will come like 2 or 3 months, right? And then we will kind of leave our majority of our R&D team to get to the next phase of our work, right, of our products. Yeah, so that's the timeline. That's when the trimmer edger prototype will come. Yeah.
Okay, so we are aiming October and November, right? Okay. All right, so I think we can discuss what kind of future modules are in the roadmap right now, like just dedicated for lawn care, lawn maintenance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that is of course, I think it's the long waited for is the granular spreader and the liquid spreader. And that is also because the reason why we didn't start it earlier is that because only with the 24 version they have the power on the back, right? So they can power the liquid spreader and the granular spreader. Yeah. So that's the second 2 products, right? The next 2 products in the timeline. And for the further developments, I think some of you we will hear from you guys feedback. Yeah. So because I can see that some of you have mentioned that some very challenging products like the machine to automatically grab the poppings of your dogs, right? That kind of very interesting products that because I think that's that kind of development will take like maybe years. Yeah. So that the earlier you guys release this idea to us, then the earlier that we can kind of get to some of the pre-research, right, and get some prototype and do more testing, and then the earlier we can get to you. Yeah.
Does it has to be a robot arm? Can it be like a plow, or just to scoop up
Yep.
the dog poop and then, you know.
Well, we are open to any suggestion. I can tell that because I see that some of the kind of our maybe some of the other prototypes in the market is they don't need kind of a robot arm because the robot arm is very expensive.
You're gonna have to need a bucket or something too, because you're not gonna run each piece of what off to wherever you're dropping it. So you're gonna need something to hold it in too.
Indeed.
Right. There's so much more to consider for that.
Right.
Okay.
Well, some
think the
type
next
of side attachment for the lawnmower module to maybe be able to remove obstacles and stuff. Some type of robotic arm maybe on the side might be a good idea. Get a stick out of the way or a ball or a frisbee or something.
Yep.
Move
It's
the
funny you were mentioning that. Oh, so sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Michael, go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna say, if I can remember now. You were talking about an arm, and I was wondering too. I know the bumper has got a bunch of pressure sensitive dealy in the front. I don't know the terminology, but if it did see and knew it was a ball or something, where we might be able to just kind of give it a good bump with the Yarbo and just push out of the way too, just because based on the way the machine is, you're not going to hurt anything from that matter as long as it's something that's going to roll. If it's not something that's going to roll, obviously now I'm thinking about it, it might not be so great. So I figured out for rolling. Sorry.
Or maybe even just a pop up on the app or something. You can say, "Hey, yeah, keep going." And
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
We can do that because with our kind of smart vision, right? The kind of the moments that it kind of something, it bumps into something, right? Maybe you can kind of take a video cap of what was in front of Yarbo, right? And if you choose just bump into it, right? Yeah, you can do that. Maybe it was a good idea. Yeah, we can do it.
And did we figure out the thing about backing into a little garage that everybody's going to want, even though the Yarbo can be outside? We got all the cameras on there. We just need some kind of grid tape or something to go down the sides. And your little doghouse that you make for your Yarbo can't be any smaller than this and any bigger than this. Now we don't have to worry about figuring out GPS in or out because we have 4 cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot me down. No, yes, good idea, bad idea.
Well, actually, I think for kind of such a small area, right? Because we are actually the old dome that we're using, the kind of immersion algorithm that we are using, it can kind of get rid of the GPS for such a short while, right? Like 1 minute or 2 minutes, that kind of thing. Yeah. So it may be practical, but why do you think is that the docking station is a very high precision, right? So that is why we have some hesitation to implement this. Yep. If inside the area, I think for this kind of this kind of we call it like a drifting, right, of the GPS signal, or even get rid of the GPS signal. That's okay because we can use the old dome and other 4 cameras to give its navigation. But for the docking station, right? Because the wireless docking station, we need a very high precision. So yeah, so I think this may be a kind of a challenge still. Yeah, we're really trying to.
The docking station has GPS on it as well. Is that what I heard?
Yep, because it needs to have kind of a high precision navigation to go back to the docking station.
Sure. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm familiar with the GPS. Maybe not exactly what you guys are using, but enough that I get why you need multiple points. I get the RTK. I guess what I'm just trying to figure out is with the RTK and some grid tape and whatnot, I would think that even you would still be able to update if we're telling everybody to anchor the pad to the ground and not to move it, and we're suggesting that we anchor it to the concrete. If we already, if we're going to anchor it down and it was clear that it had not moved from the anchor, then we ought to be able to get that positioning to that. And I'm not saying we're going to back into a garage and then go down to another level and all this, like some parameters, like, and it might not be in somebody's garage. It's just simply a cover, like you're seeing all the other, I'm going to say entry level mowers at this point, just because of what my needs were. But this is it. So maybe the other reason why I'm so passionate about it is because I don't see anything else in sight. But but the GPS being on the pad, okay, cool. But we just really need to know where the pad is GPS, right? So if we have a doghouse, I'm just going to use over the top. It's twice the size of what the Yarbo needs to park in. Just make it simple. And we have the cameras down the side. We know they're heated, so we don't have any issues there as far as cold or anything else. We should be able to read either some kind of pattern or something that's easily just put on the sides that then once we've backed in and we're sitting on the pad, we should be able to at that point what do you call it, tell the pad where the pad is at and know that that's where the pad is. Like, it's not going to move, right? So I apologize, maybe I'm just missing the whole idea of it, but I get we need to know where everything is and why the GPS is everywhere where it is, and the RTK, like I said, and how we're pinpointing very, very down to the, the smallest possibility to get the best GPS fix. I'm just missing the whole idea. I just see so many people asking about how we're going to park it in something or whatever, and it seems to sound like a challenge that can't be solved, even though I think you guys got all the, I think the equipment's there. I don't mean to pick on software, but.
Yep. So I think the great suggestion that Michael has made is that why can't we just use like a QR code or some kind of a line or wires, right, to guide Yarbo for docking. Hence, it will now need GPS for like docking, right? So you can just follow the wires, follow the QR code, and then backing into the garage and things like that, right?
Okay, now hold that thought for just a second. Bear with me. So now all I want to say is, now this sounds like something Yarbo might be working on because Michael brought it up or whatever with this dog mode and all this other stuff I've been talking about, but it's not necessarily promised for October, and trying to like circle back and just figuring out what needs to happen for October, because I've got a million ideas. Same thing for liability and just making sure that the unit runs around for a while and the user says, okay, yep, Yarbo's been around, my dog's seen it, my cat's seen it, my bird's seen it, whatever. Let's go ahead and start actually cutting versus just immediately letting this thing just cut. I know it's 105 pounds, going to take a little bit to knock it over. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's just a core. So now we add another, whatever it is for each module, 50 to 70 pounds, I think it is, between the snowmobile or the snow blower and the M1. Just some other thoughts there. And then I'm seeing the other mowers getting caught under cars. I hope that we're nowhere near that with all the sensors and stuff we have. Cars parked, it's a little higher, that's in the yard, and it's trying to cut under something it can't. So I've seen a lot of the stuff that is unfortunately software for those guys too, along with a whole other $25,000 I got behind me that I spent with Anchor that, no, don't worry. And yeah, the hardware is awesome, but the software is not there. So some of this, and that's not your guys' fault, and I apologize, but I'm passionate about it because I don't need to see it again. I'm working on helping these guys. And yeah, I don't know. You guys might just have to tell me to go away. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
Oh, yes, because yeah, with many comments. Yep.
Yeah. I think Michael's point is so like what he suggested is like a future development for Yarbo, right? Like he understands that we don't have the resources to make that happen for October, right? But just throwing in some ideas for our future development, right? So might be able to accomplish like backing into the garage next year, or like when will we consider this enhancement or a solution?
Well, actually, the most the kind of hardest part of this is that actually it's not a kind of by the software upgrade can do this, right?
Okay.
We need to have a kind of much more upgraded hardware. Yeah. So especially what you mentioned that in kind of parking in the garage, right? So like take that as example, right? So if you want to park in the garage, you need to the in industry that's the most used technique is that you use kind of the laser radar, right? The laser radar, yeah. But the laser radar has its fallbacks, right? The laser radar cannot kind of operate in a kind of large lawn, especially when the lawn doesn't have any kind of
Reference, but
yeah, exactly. Doesn't have houses or trees, or you just go to a kind of enormous kind of flat lawn, right? Doesn't have any other you know other different references and in it.
yeah, no visual differences.
Yeah, it will get lost, right?
Okay.
So this is something that it cannot, to replace the unpaid GPS. You know? So I think it's all about, as I last mentioned, it's all about balance. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Percent. So yeah, we don't want to make some promises that we cannot keep, right? At Yarbo. So we are always trying to be transparent, and just like Michael, you mentioned like other product on the market. They sometimes say there's no problem, it can be handled, and then ends up with like there's need enhancement, there's needs adjustment for that. But for like a Yarbo, we really try to be transparent, and we wanna let our customers know what is the limitation for Yarbo and what can be done and what cannot, right? So I think Michael has brought up a great point of like the mower, the robot itself, when under the trucks, like normal cars is slower, has a lower clearance, and the robot is able to detect it, right? So for like trucks, it has a higher, how to say that, like the bottom part. What is that? What is that called?
Lifted, maybe. I think you're looking for a word lifted, or
Yeah,
higher
yeah.
truck.
That's right. So like for higher trucks, the robot might not be able to see the obstacles, because its camera vision is lower than the clearance, something like that, and then it makes the robot goes under the truck, and that could cause a problem, right?
Yeah.
So how does Yarbo avoid that situation?
Well, I think it's kind of that's why we bring up the development of the in the 24 version. So we have moved the ultrasonic radar is higher. So like from here to here, right? It have a higher look and have a better field view, right? So you can kind of somehow see the obstacles that is higher than the Yarbo.
Okay.
Yep. So it may, I can just tell it may have partly solved this problem, but yeah, but as you can see that our binocular camera, yeah, because this is why we want to position it as low as possible, because we want to see those obstacles that is very small, right? So it's a trade-off, right? So we have abandoned the ability to make it higher, right? So yeah, that's the trade-off as I mentioned. Yep.
Okay, and I think
It's got to
another
be a no-go zone.
yes,
Yeah.
but no-go zone definitely solves the issue, right?
Yeah, of course. But no-go zone, because we are talking about we want to make it as clever as possible, right?
Yeah.
We don't need much no-go zone. No-go zone is just the kind of defense strategy that we will take, right?
Okay, so I think another enhancement is that we have lowered the antennas.
Oh yeah,
Is that
indeed.
true for the newer version?
Exactly. So in the 24 version, some of you may notice that because we make it kind of switchable, right? The antennas. Actually, it's not the antenna, but the pole that's supporting the antenna. Yeah, it can be switchable. So that for those areas that you may need a lower clearance, right? You can just switch to a shorter pole. Yeah.
Okay.
And then when the winter comes, because we know the snow will pile up on the back of Yarbo, right? It will obstruct the signal from the RDK, right? From the
Okay.
GPS. Yeah.
Okay,
it's
so-
longer.
Got it. So it's another consideration for the winter time, right? So,
Yeah, exactly.
so at winter times, we need a higher pole to support RTK to not get piled up as snow, right? And for summers or other seasons, we can switch up to a lower pole
Exactly.
for, I don't know, better looking or protect it from getting damaged by going under lower current.
Branches.
Yeah, branches or
fences. Yeah.
mulch, things like that. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. And well, yeah, I think that's all I wanna discuss with you, the topics about the future direction and developments, right? I think we pretty much did the QA sessions, but anyway, I'll just leave it open. Is there any questions that you want to ask? I think
In
we're
the
busy.
sake of time, I'll hold the rest of mine for now. But appreciate you guys doing this.
Right. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, I'm sure it's been asked before, but any reason why the razor blades versus traditional mower blades? I mean, I've seen other mowers, have no problems with the razor blades, but this thing's pretty powerful. I'm sure it could probably, spin some of the bigger blades.
Choice of blade.
Yeah. So actually, it's just kind of you can see we are new to this kind of a robotic lawnmower market, right? So we have choose razor blade that is most common practice in the industry, right? And also we experience this because the razor blade is like it's like compared with the traditional that kind of a long blades that might be, it will consume less energy, right? So it can cover a bigger area. And the whole logic behind it is that because each time you only need to cut the like
1/3
millimeters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1/3 of the lawn.
Exactly, of the grass.
Mhm.
So they don't need to that kind of a powerful long blades as the traditional lawnmowers did. But of course, we have heard from so many our backers or our users that they might want a machine that can kind of because some of their lawns may be uncut for like a month, right? So the grass will go much higher than we can handle. Then they need a kind of a new kind of a more
Powerful blades?
powerful increments. Yeah. Yeah. So the solution is that we have two solutions for that. First of all, is that we actually have plans to make a more powerful modules, like using a big brace, right? But it would be a separate module, right?
Okay.
Yep. And the second thing is that we can kind of implement some of these features for our trimmers, right? Because trimmers is intended. Of course, we emphasize the trimmers for some of the boundary cutting, but actually trimmers can also do this kind of a large area, right? Because you have a long grass, you need trimmers to cut it. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this is two kind of a solution that we can provide.
All right.
All right, so maybe some type of flail mower or something in the future.
Yeah.
The current module, as far as like, is there a coating on the underside or anything to kind of help, keep the grass from sticking, especially if you let it go a little bit long?
You mean the camera or the ultrasonic radar, or what do you mean?
He's talking about the
The
under
under-
part of the decking, like having, where, especially if you cut a good healthy yard or it's wet, you may just be more likely to catch a bunch of grass that gets caught up underneath there and whatnot, I think is what you're saying, right?
So like
yeah, exactly.
a clogging issue underneath.
Mhm.
So have we applied coatings to the blades or to the blade guards on the side, just to avoid the clippings being clogged at the motors at the bottom part?
Yeah, actually, I can tell you that coating vanish when the time goes by, right?
Yeah.
So it may work for the first day, but then because it has it will interface with the grass clippings, right? So the grass clippings, once it's fell off, it will take out the coating, right? So we didn't we tested different coatings to spread on it, and we didn't find a good coating that can last for like a week. Yep. So the suggestion from us is that just if you find, because we have the alert that's telling you that maybe it will get jammed, in the cutting disc, right? Because the current will go quite high at that time, so you can get a kind of a pop-up message from your application, right, saying that okay, maybe it will be jammed. So the suggestion is that you just need to kind of release them and use your high pressure water, to clean it, right? Then also to clean it, and then just to leave it, because we are kind of IPX6
Waterproof ratings. Yeah.
Exactly. So you can just use the water to
wash them
brush it.
off.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. But
Because
can
the
our
water pressure won't hurt it.
Yep, won't hurt it. So, but can our customers, apply the coatings by themselves?
Yeah, sure.
So it might last for a week, right?
Yeah.
So they don't have to wash off the clippings remnants often if they apply the coatings.
Actually, you know what? Those kind of it would just be, it would just, because the must. It depends on how long you cut the grass, right? So
Yeah.
the longer you cut the grass, the higher possibility that you will get jammed by the grass clipping, and especially for those clippings that get a bunch of that, right? You even you do some coating on it, you cannot get rid of that, because the coating can only kind of have a small layer of the clippings that will work.
Okay.
Yeah. But if a bunch of the clippings, because when Yarbo is turning, right, some of the clippings, if it's kind of maxed up, right, it will kind of jam it in any places. Yeah, in this kind of a cutting disc.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Anthony?
Any reason, I know there was some prototypes and maybe that was for the commercial version, but and you kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but LiDAR, any reason not to kind of triple up on some of the sensors and couple that with the cameras to kind of have a better field of view all around?
Oh, yeah, that is really in our roadmap. So for the commercial part, yeah, it will happen when for the commercial module, because some of maybe next year we will move into the commercial markets. Yeah, although actually the M1 or the normal module that we're using now can be somehow to fit the commercial market, but we do have some inquiries from our dealers that they want to have a more powerful and more to environment adaptive to the market. Yeah, so that is the time that actually we are introducing some of the LiDAR in our testing. Yeah, but I think it will not be released until next year.
Was that going to be like a whole new core and everything, or is it just you take the core you have now and kind of just add commercial modules to it?
Oh, that is a very great question. Yeah, I can tell that we are not decided yet, because the LiDAR itself is very expensive. We don't want to just using into one separate module, right? Yeah, so if we want to make it on our core of the Yarbo, then maybe we need a new core, as you mentioned. But of course, if you want to, if we do that in the normal module, yeah, itself, it will be a quick release. But
Too expensive.
Yeah, we're not sure it will be a cost effectively decision. Yeah.
You might be able to add it later if you wanted to in those module slots, I'm wondering.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm serious. Like if there was a need for it, something where it actually made sense, something where I described where things might be moving around a lot and we don't want to get stuck under things, there might be an opportunity there for real.
Yep.
I don't know what the bus looks like and what you guys have going to that, so maybe I'm giving it more credit than what's capable on that bus. I'm not sure, or if it's a bus or not.
Right. Just getting a broader view on the cost. How much does it usually cost for LiDAR? I don't know. Do you have any idea? Like you said it's expensive, but how much?
Nearly 1,000 USD.
1,000 USD.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
For additional Yarbo would be an extra $1,000.
Well, just that's the pure cost for the LiDAR.
Yeah.
Like
Sure. But is that
Yes.
R&D and software and everything, or is that just the equipment? Is what I was trying to figure out.
The equipment. itself.
just the equipment.
Yeah. It doesn't.
Just the
you know,
equipment.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't contain the R&D that because the new hardware introduced, our R&D team we need to kind of leverage this kind of new hardware, right? We
Yeah.
need to-
Fusion it with the camera, with the ultrasonic sensors.
Exactly. The algorithm will be kind of different. Yeah.
Right.
Would that cost go down with scale, or is that pretty much just set?
I think it doesn't goes down to scale. It goes down by the technology itself.
Okay.
So we don't because I talk with lots of the professionals in this industry. Actually, because data they are experienced very high fast developments. So each year they will have released some of the new hardware itself. So each year because they understand that much, right? If they want to be used by the robotic lawnmower, right? More robotic lawnmower, they need to keep the cost down. So from my understanding, they are already to developing some hardware that is maybe 1/10 of the original one, right?
Mhm.
And that will kind of because they need to choose a different path for the hardware, right? It's not about scales, but it's all about the technology inside. Because once they understand this our application well, they will kind of focus on those features that we need, right? And those features then will be just discussed just to follow out, right? To them to customize kind of hardware that is very fixed to this robotic kind of lawnmower or snowblower market, and we can be their first batch of users. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a good point about the direction of technology,
Mhm.
which way it's going, right?
Mhm.
Seems like vision is going to be the final answer or the the solution towards AI, right? As Tesla is already having the FSD released. So yeah, maybe we will be
No LiDAR. No
Yeah.
LiDAR, by the way.
no LiDAR at
Right.
all. Yeah.
Right. So that's a good point.
So yeah, maybe that's the direction we will be going as the market shift its direction towards vision instead of LiDAR, instead of other kind of radars. And yeah,
Well, the Terra mower that's in Kickstarter right now. Some of the videos I've seen of it, it's completely AI, completely vision. It seems like it's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Avoiding holes and whatnot. It's pretty impressive. But when it starts to get dark outside, it goes back to the base because it can't work at night. So it's definitely a leg up
Which
for
is
you
this one?
guys. The Terra mower.
Terramore.
Are you talking about the white one? No, not Lumba or whatever. Oh, that one?
Yeah, not Yucca, not Luba, but the Teramo.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll have to look that one up then. I guess I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, Crazy Postman just put a video out on it.
Mhm.
The only reason why I ask is because I haven't been able to see anything that looks like it'll do up to 6 acres. I know that's probably not a lot of obstacle. I'm on 2 acres, and I looked at most of the stuff that's out there, and unless it was going to be mowing nonstop, it was never going to happen. And more importantly, if it rained that week, then I guess what am I going to have to cut it myself? I mean, that wasn't an option. So I haven't been able to find anything as far as the water resistance and whatnot. Hands down, I don't know what you've looked at out there, but I know how much you're trying to cut. But I'm on 2 acres. This is the only thing I've been able to find that even looks like it'll be able to do it.
I mean, I'm on 2, and that's on the upper scale of some of these that I've looked at. But everything else seems like a toy compared to this thing. And the modularity really kind of, was something I was looking for, as well as I've been wanting since I was a kid, the ability to have it, weed eat and edge at the same time. So, definitely features I'm looking forward to getting released.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Yeah. I'm interested in the spreader and some of those things too, and I just didn't purchase those yet because I was really just interested in getting what I could get here as soon as possible. Like I said, I made my decision within a couple of days at best. I didn't even know when I started finding out about CSE in 2017, and then they purchased Snowbot and kind of how the first blowers kind of went and how they made good on it and those kind of things, and just kind of really kind of surprised me that it took me this long to find them, because I've been looking for a while. I keep joking that the next mower wasn't going to be something we were going to drive, but maybe for fun a little bit.
Yeah, it
All
took me
right.
a little while to find these guys too, but I'm grateful I did. I'm
We
really
should
looking
work
forward to
better
that.
on we should work better on the marketing side, spread out the advertisement more often, seems like. And yeah, I think Brian, you have brought up something that we taking care of is the flashlight for the lightings at the dark. And that's something new for Yarbo, right? Like comparing
And
to
the rear.
other- Yes, and also on the side. So we have lights for all the cameras so that Yarbo can work during the nighttime.
Yeah, exactly. We actually tested it. It was good. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Just little add on to the.
Did you guys remind me too? I thought you guys never really told Yarbo what a tree or anything was, right? Well, there's something you guys kind of did to help try to kind of figure that out on its own, as far as the understanding objects and whatnot. I thought it was a little bit more complicated than you guys just telling it, this is an object, this is an object, this is an object.
So yeah, so Michael has just mentioned that do we distinguish each obstacles by its shape or size of it? Like, will Yarbo be able to tell that's a tree, that's a rock, that's a person?
Actually, nowadays we are using the kind of segmentation algorithm. Yeah. So we can kind of because the trees, it's really unique, right? You can see from its shape. So we have feedback a lot of we have feeds many kind of materials for our algorithm training. So actually you can identify the trees, but for the rocks, that's very critical point because the rocks, they have different shapes. You don't know exactly what it's like to be a shape, to be a rock, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And actually for other obstacles, it's the same thing. If we can tell this from from just the shape of it and the color of it, it can be categorize it into one kind of obstacles. We can do this, but we need to ensure that it's this kind of is as popular as possible. Yeah, because we don't know exactly what each obstacle is.
Yeah. Are we using open source like algorithm database?
No.
No. Okay, so we are using our own.
I can tell that, well, actually, the open source database is just for the basic training, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So the basic training, and then because deep into our this kind of environment, it will have lots of unique features, right? And also because you can see that our cameras, the position of the cameras, actually sees things different, right? So we need to kind of self-training itself.
Okay.
So, and that is also one of the kind of features that I want to mention is that because the more feedbacks that you guys will tell us, right, then the more precisely the obstacle avoidance can be, right? Because all those kind of it's all about the data. Yeah, it's all about this kind of the data resources. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
So speaking of open source and some of the software you guys use, I assume there's probably a decent amount of open source and probably some proprietary, but how often do you guys do security updates and things like that to patch for some of the vulnerabilities and outside of just trying to fix bugs and things like that you guys are working through with the product itself, but just specific security updates for the software?
You mean the OTA frequency or the kind of the privacy protocol?
Yeah, any over-the-air updates, do those include security fixes as well as kind of bug fixes?
Yeah, how
Well-
the app is talking to the cloud and what kind of using two-factor, those kind of things, I think is what he's kind of getting after.
Yeah. So all the cloud's infrastructure we're using is on the AWS, Amazon Web Service, right? So I think it's a company practice in. I think it's the highest practice in the industry. Yeah. So all the data we will get from AWS, and then you get back to some critical, just for the maintenance of our machine, right? We will get back to us, and please rest assured that we will not, open your camera by ourselves, right? And all the data and all the streamlines in your cameras will store locally in the Yarbots, right? But I can tell that yes, there is a way that it will get back to the headquarters of Yarbo, and that is when you want to upload your troubleshooting, right? So in the troubleshooting page, we get you can write down some description of your issue that you encounter, and upload a video, and as well as some logs and log files in the Yarbo, and that only when that time happens, where this kind of videos or image will be get back to the headquarters. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's about the privacy for Yarbo, right? Got it.
Yeah, I mean, I was more getting at if there's specific third-party software or things like that. Like, let's say there's an SSH service or something. How often do you guys do updates to ensure that those types of things are patched to the latest versions?
So yeah, for like security updates,
Mhm.
right? And other than the bug fix, how often do we practice a security update? Like make sure that there's no loopholes, make sure there's no breaches for our
Right, because
data.
you guys are on like a Linux platform or something that you guys are running on, I think is what he was potentially getting at. And then how do you guys, keep things secure?
Okay.
It's a question for everybody today. I mean, it's something that everybody's got to get pretty serious about. Doesn't matter what app. I mean, I got all this stuff that controls power in the back of my house. You think that should have better security? Probably.
Indeed.
But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So I think if the update frequency comes from two kind of a message, right? So first one, once we got some, the important notice from those third-party software, or maybe the Linux, is stating that they have they just found a serious bug, right, or the security leak potential in their system. Then of course we will do that immediately. And actually, we do have a kind of a protocol saying that we need to adjust this question, within 48 hours, right?
Okay. Yep.
Yep. Also, for those other than those, the notice from the third party, that is something that may be, reported by our hackers or our users that maybe we may encounter some, privacy leak, or that is will be shorter as 6 hours. Yeah, we will get the hotfix done, right, and then to adjust this question.
Okay. Did I answer? Did that answer your question, Brian?
I think so. So it's kind of as things get identified, you guys patch it, and I assume that's an out of cycle update that would come out
That's
versus like quarterly updates or whatever you guys do.
Over the air is what I understood. What does that mean to you guys, over the air? Just do not take it the wrong way or misunderstood.
That's right. So yeah, hotfix are released very fast, right? It can it can be released and published and installed to the Yarbo at a relatively shorter period of time.
Yep.
And we did publish hotfix before.
Yeah.
I think for last year's
that's
model. Yeah.
You can see
And is that
many
all?
update records on in the snowboard module, right? Yeah. So the frequency is really high. Yeah.
So I assume that's all automatic, and I can just set it to auto and let it do its thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing you need to do is just to connect it to the internet.
Yep.
Because that time, only by then we can, to push the upware to the firmware to your.
It will be automatic.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But I don't necessarily have to connect it to the internet. I can run offline all I want, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So you just need the data center to be connected to the internet with the Ethernet cable to your router, and then you'll be good to go. So the Wi-Fi halo will be transmitting the data pushed towards the rover, towards the Yarbo core.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. I think we can close up the webinar, and it's been very informative. And yeah, I think even I had received some information that I didn't know about before, right? So yeah, you want to close this up for us, Anthony?
Okay. So
Any final thoughts?
Well, it was very appreciate you guys coming today. Yeah. I enjoyed this kind of conversation with our, though maybe some of you didn't purchase Yarbo yet, but we want to hear from you, because sometimes for the users that didn't buy Yarbo is more important to us, because we want to understand your hesitation, right, and your force. And once again, thank you for your time, and hope you enjoyed this webinar.
All right.
Can I also get a copy of this video too, guys? You guys are recording this. I want a copy of it as well, please.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I'll be sending out invitations for like both of you, and then I think I think that the next topic for the webinar is gonna be safety, because we had received a lot of comments and discussions over the safety issues for Yarbo in general, right? Like maybe like the data safety you just mentioned, you just brought up, right? And also the operation safety, right? And so that will be the next topic. I think our product director Jay will be hosting it, not joining us for the next event. And it should be scheduled on the end of July. So you are more than welcome to join us on our next webinar. And so that's pretty much for today. And thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Take care. See you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you. Hey, Ethan, real quick.
Yep.
Tomorrow's event, is that Facebook only?
That's that's actually a on-site event with Scott Grams, right?
Yeah, it looked like it
So,
was
yeah.
a stream event as well, but potentially Facebook only.
Yeah, that will be Facebook only because we are not hosting it. It will be Scott himself hosting it. But I think I will talk to the North American teams and see if they can host that event also on YouTube. Is that what you're asking for?
Yes,
Like
that would
on
be
YouTube
perfect.
also? Okay. All right. I'll talk to them. I'll talk to them. So yeah, just another mobile phone and streaming on the YouTube. I don't think that's an issue.
Appreciate
Right.
it.
Yep. All right. Thank you. I'll end the meeting now and see you next
Thank
time.
you.
Bye.
Bye.